Hey everyone, Dr. Frunky here with an awesome new knife consult on a brand new Gavko design. This is really exciting for me because if you go back on my channel, I've owned a couple of Gavko knives. I've owned the Gavko knives Thrasher. The Thrasher was a custom knife that was actually supposed to be called the Thresher. The knife somehow ended up with that name because of a little bit of a typo and the fact that Michael Gavko, the creator and designer of the knife, doesn't have exactly perfect English all the time, and he'll be the first to admit that. But he's an awesome guy with some awesome designs, and this is really a production effort right here by We Knives and the Massdrop organization to bring an affordable but awesome version of the Gavko design to the market. And this is basically, if you look at these two knives, these are very, very similar to the exact two knives that I had on the channel. I owned a full gray one and I owned the Frunky green one. And so it's very cool for me to be able to bring these knives to you. I wanted to go ahead and thank Jonas over there at Massdrop. He sent these knives to me to check out and to show you guys. So I'm going to try to do this with as little bias as possible. But understand also, I really like Gavko knives. And I think that Massdrop has been doing a good job lately with some of these production sort of collaborations. This is the Ferrum Forge Knife Works Falcon that they've done through Massdrop. This is the second gen with the wing finish. As you can see, this has been a very popular knife. This is a smaller knife. A lot of people really love the different Ferrum Forges that have come out, and there are more and more of these coming out, and so it was very exciting for me to see Michael Gavko of Gavko Knives team up with them and come out with the Thresher model that you see right here. So right off the bat, you're going to notice that one of these is not like the others, and that's this bronze one over here. Obviously, this is a lefty version. What they are doing with this knife is they are offering lefty versions to anyone that is buying them. I will leave a link down below in the description for you to follow so you can check out this knife and spec it out to the way that you want. If you want it lefty or righty, what's going to happen is that the clip holes on the righty and the lefty versions are going to go away on the presentation side in favor of having a full lefty and righty version of the knife. So what I want to do is go ahead and get into this knife. Let's go ahead and get some vital signs. I'm going to move these two off the screen briefly here, and we're going to focus, of course, on the Frunky green one. Up front, we are looking at a 3.5-inch blade back to the handle right there, 8 inches of overall length, 4 inches right there at the pivot. The handle is coming in right at about 4.5 inches. The blade stock on these is coming in at 157 thousandths right there, and the handle thickness on this particular one is about 1/2 inch, just a hair over 1/2 inch. All of these are going to be more or less the same in terms of their overall weights. There are a bunch of different variants, and we'll talk about all those different ones. This is coming in at 4.7 ounces for that finish right there. This one is coming in at 4.89, so a little bit more milling here. And then there's a plain flat-handled version that may be right at 5 ounces. I don't have a copy of that one as of right now. So let's go ahead and bring out another couple of knives for a size comparison real quick. Let's bring out a Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and a Para 3. Here you can see that these knives are about the same size as a Para 2 right there. I'll bring back out the Massdrop Falcon. You can see this Falcon is a very small knife going on here. For some of the other maybe budget-minded folks out there, here is a real steel Megalodon, another Chinese-made knife right there. I'll bring out my We Knives and Elijah Isham and Fanatic Edge Omen right there. That's another knife that We Knife is producing for another small maker right there. And I'll also bring out the We Knives 811 Tai Chi. What I want to show you is that We Knives is really killing it on the quality nowadays. They have some incredible designs, and they seem to be taking over the knife world. They are starting to make some knives all over the place, knives that you wouldn't even expect. Oh, just coming out of everywhere, there are some We Knives, and so it's incredible to me to see them bringing this quality at these price points. I don't know if I've actually even gotten to that point yet. It's another good vital sign is the price. and that is $199 for these guys right here. The plain finished one, the plain handled, is $179, so you save $20 more. There are going to be different variants of the knife, as you saw from the very beginning. There are 3 different handle finishes. There's a plain flat version. There is the big eye version, which has this milling around the outside. And then there's one called the Pelagic Finish. That's what this one is. That means like it's from the sea. And that one looks very, very cool with the milling. There is a Sharkskin finish, which is the full stone-washed finish. And then there is an aqua finish, which is this. Frunky green with the satin blade, and then there is a sand or bronze finish with the satin blade. And so these are the different variants. It's cool to see, and obviously right and left handed going on here. So very cool to see the different variants that they're offering. Again, I'm going to move these off the screen so we can focus on one as we break it down anatomically. Up front is a blade of S35VN, as you can see noted right there on the front, that may be moved to the back on the final production model. It shows very prominently the Gavko logo. I really like his logo. It's cool that it's right there. I don't think it detracts too much from the blade shape. From the blade design. Speaking of the blade shape and design, I love the Thresher blade. I really thought when I owned the first one that it was a very functional EDC blade. Now my custom version was a chisel ground blade. This one is a nice V ground blade with a full flat grind up here and an almost full flat grind there. There is a clip point, almost Bowie style blade going on right here. Sorry, let me keep it in frame. Mike calls it a sort of a modified Bowie shape right there. Nice full flat grind, nice long belly on this blade, very nice slicer. Comes down to very thin behind the edge, as thin as a paramilitary too behind the edge right there. It's got a fine tip. This one is not really going to be meant for prying with the tip, but it is a nice knife for pokey type of openings. So I needed to open a carton of water bottles. This has a nice little pokey tip for opening that plastic really precisely. You know, sometimes a pokey tip is a useful thing. It's got a nice sharpening choil and it's sharpened all the way back. On the custom model, there's more of a forward finger choil that I might have liked to see, but I'm not complaining because the ergonomics are excellent, and we'll get to that here. This knife, the one controversial part on this knife is going to be the thumb studs right here. They're done in a black DLC coated steel. They have a very nice little bit of knurling on there. Maybe you can see that at this angle. And they're very easy to use. The detent is set so that it's easy to do it with the fat of your thumb, with your thumbnail. It's also very easy to do it as a spider flick movement. It's very easy to deploy this knife with these thumb studs. I appreciate that it's not a flipper right there. And that's because it runs on very smooth ceramic ball bearings. And like I said, the detent is tuned quite nicely. It's a bit light, but it's not going to shake out of the handle. It's tuned very well for a thumb stud deployment and incredibly smooth out of the box. All 3 of these came very, very smooth out of the box. So let's go ahead and move back to the handles right here, show you the different finishes. This one is called Sharkskin, the dark stonewashed finish, and it's only available with a stonewashed blade and handle. You can't get a stonewashed handle and a satin blade. This one is called the Pelagic Finish. It looks like scales on an animal. This knife really looks alive, and in this color, it's really beautiful. Something about this pelagic finish, the contours of the milling actually fit the fingers in a very amazing way. This is definitely my favorite one. The way my fingers fit on these contours is spectacular. It's so comfortable, and it's really, really well thought out, and it's perfectly executed. There is a little bit of a hot spot in terms of where the clip rides on that. It's not a hot spot for the hand, I mean to say for in and out of the pocket. But this clip, this milled and spring type clip, is exactly like what Michael uses on his knives, and the tension is very easily adjustable, and it's not too much, so it's not going to shred your pocket. It just is something. Notice also the back spacers. They're the same on all the different models. This one was actually designed a bit by Jonas over there. He kind of chose that this spacer would be used like this, and they're all so cool, especially on this pelagic one right here. It also looks really, really good on the big eye version. Amazing that all of them have that. And then, of course, bringing out the bronze again so you can appreciate the colors here. and the left-handed. So I'm really happy to bring you guys this Thresher model from We Knives and Massdrop and Gavko Knives. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Head over to Massdrop at the link in my description so you can check it out. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and check me out on Instagram as Dr. Frunky. And as always, take care.